Now, state creation, it's causing kind of disaffection, and some persons may not be thorough to ask questions and want to even interface. I remember when I did the promo for this program, somebody even challenged me, why are you trying to give minority people opportunity to be heard? And I said, that is wrong, because we are here to protect humanity. There is a guideline that stipulates the process of one of those aspiring for a state to be created. And one of it is that 2/3 of the National Assembly members must vote for it. And at the State House of Assembly, you also have a 2/3. And as an analyst, I and Juliana, we believe that the National Assembly should have come up with the names of states that have been proposed based on those that have met the criteria. Let's say front and back, you just say, come and present, you went to present. Now, do you think the Oro-Obolo state movement can muster 2/3 of National Assembly members, 2/3 of the State House of Assembly members, and the local governments involved to be able to qualify if it is humanly possible that state can be created under a civilian administration, knowing that it's been military all through that created state and local government areas?
Okay, let me take from there. State creation is a process. You have to request for it, which we have requested. And now they have to read it. It passed the first reading, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And then the second reading, before the second reading, there has to be the public hearing, which took place, and they are following the Constitution. And we also are following the provisions of the Constitution. And then after that, the Constitution says 2/3 of the houses of assembly in the Federation, not Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and so take that note that 2/3 of the houses of assembly in the Federation. So, and like if you read the book of Esther, what Mordecai told Esther, that if you keep quiet at a time like this, enlargement may come from somewhere else to save the children of Israel. So if the people of Akwa Ibom State fails to support that state creation, enlargement may come from somewhere else. And we believe the God that I worship, that it will come to pass. But that's not the issue, Sha. The issue I want to stress is the advantage of having a state. The National Assembly says they want to create states, and other regions are asking for it, and you say you don't want it. One, you are cheating yourself, because revenue allocation to states, the first point is 50% on equality of states. So if they divide other states into 2, 3, 4, 5, they are sharing in that 50%, and you are still having only one portion. They are having 3 portions. You are going to have 1 portion. So you are even losing for not requesting and having additional states. That's 1. 2, even in representation, every state must have 3 senators, and you are having only 3. And you have opportunity to have 6. You say you don't want it, you still want to have 3. You are putting yourself at a disadvantage. The House of Rep, the same issue. So each time you oppose state creation in your area, you are depriving yourself of a lot of things which others are busy grappling. In Cross River State, I've read yesterday that the Ogoja and the Calabar people are meeting to harmonize their position to push forward the creation of Ogoja State. And here we are saying we don't want it. So what? And then creation of this state will bring rapid development to the coastal area, which the present administration of Rivers and Akwa Ibom State has not been able to effectively develop those terrains, those difficult terrains. So I see it as a developmental project. If you create Akwa Ibom, create Obolo State out of Akwa Ibom, so that Akwa Ibom will now be having 2 states instead of 1. The West has 6 states, and they are even requesting for more. The East Central, former what they call the Igbo people, they have 5 states and asking for more. And here you have opportunity to have another one, and you are saying, oh, you don't want it. We are depriving yourself of a lot of things.
We would love the listeners to also have their input We're going to open the phone
So
line.
let's emphasize on the advantages
No,
of having this new state.
Yeah, there are various advantages. We cannot rule out advantages and disadvantages, but one thing we need to clarify, which we want our listeners to also check up, is that when it comes to requests, there is a minimum number of representation within the area where this request for the state is being made. The other one is when it goes round for this, but there is the 2/3 of the National Assembly members of the state where request is being made. And then there's also the aspect of, if the state is created, will it affect?
I don't see any provision that says 2/3 of the members representing.
Yeah, we'll have you again.
Okay.
We will have you again. We've done some researches on these, and
it's not in the Constitution.
From the Constitution, because to have allowed it to be open will have been something else. But that's just by the way. Okay. Now, the listeners will want to call in and have their take. Certainly, we are going to have you again because we are doing everything possible to also bring our Ibibio brothers possibly next week to also speak.
Yeah, but before we bring it so that we can have it clearly, you talked about a map,
Yes.
The state map. And I want to tell you that we are relying on the federal government map, which is authentic. We have a certified true copy of the real gazetted map of Nigeria, which has clearly defined the Akwa Ibom state boundaries and local governments. So our request is based on the map of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that has been gazetted.
And in that map, there is no core Ibibio local governments that got to the Atlantic, like you talked about.
Yes, there's none.
Esreket, which you mentioned earlier, does even Esreket not get to the Atlantic to
Esreket, like I said, was made up of Ukwo and Ibno. And along the line, they divided them into two.
So does Esreket border the
initially, when it was Ukwo and Ibno, it did border the ocean. But when they divided the Ukwo Ibno into Esreket and Ibno, it was no longer a coastal state.
Deep talks, we will have this conversation again.